Ann Arbor Inclusive is produced in part with the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues and CTN. The views and opinions expressed in the show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Commission or CTN. For more information about the Commission on Disability Issues, visit a2gov.org/disability resources. If you have program topic suggestions, please email a2disabilityissues@gmail.com.
Hi, welcome to Ann Arbor Inclusive. I'm Tom Holtlin, your host. Ann Arbor Inclusive is a program of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. Today, we bring to you some very vital information that is going on in our state. Many people have seen it in the news, many people have read it, about the auto no-fault reform and what it was supposed to do and what it's not doing, and the cause and effect from that reform is basically has been a life or death decision. And so I'm very happy to have one of our experts on today, one of our expert advocates that is with the organization We Can't Wait. In fact, she's the founder of We Can't Wait. And she'll tell you her qualifications as far as why she's so passionate about this. It's personal to her. So with that saying that, Peg, I'd like to welcome you to Ann Arbor Inclusive.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Can you tell me right from the get-go, why are you so concerned about the auto no-fault reform and the old benefits versus the new?
Yeah, well, Tom, in May of 2019, a bipartisan auto no-fault bill was passed. And when it was signed by Governor Whitmer on Mackinac Island at the annual Chamber of Commerce meeting that they have, she signed it saying it wasn't perfect, but that it could be fixed. And it seemed like it was a real bipartisan coup for all concerned. But the problem was the bill was devastating and needed to be fixed because the implications of it were that 45% cuts would take place to many of the benefits the auto crash survivors were receiving, like the providers, the agencies who provide the care to the people who have been injured was cut by 45%.
I mean, let's call it half.
Yeah, half. And that same cut was applied to the families. Many families provide care for their loved ones for various reasons. And that was cut by half. And the other thing that it did was it limited the number of hours that family could get paid for caring for their loved ones. So there's 168 hours a week. They were limited now with this new bill to 56 hours a week. That is 8 hours a day. And these people, many people need 24/7 care. And in addition, that cut also applied to therapies that many people receive, things like durable medical equipment, medications, and such. And so it was a devastating cut. And everybody thought who might be affected, surely they can't let this bill go through. Yeah, there will be effects. And in September of 2019, 4,000 survivors or proponents, supporters, gathered and marched in the Capitol, on the Capitol lawn. There were 4,000 people and nothing happened. So fast forward to last year at this time, the bill was to go into effect July 1st, 2021. And I was very concerned because my sister is an auto crash survivor. 20 years ago, she was in a rollover car accident and sustained a spinal cord injury. And was paralyzed from the chest down. And as devastating as that was, with auto no fault insurance, she was able to not only survive, but thrive. Auto no fault helped her go back to school. She had 24/7 nurse caregivers who were continually with her so she could get a PhD. And now she's living by herself and she's teaching in a university. She has a happy, fulfilling life because of auto no fault. And this stands to be stripped from her with this half cut to benefits. And people like her are liable to end up in a nursing home where they're not equipped to care for people of this injury level. They're not equipped or staffed. So it's a devastating situation.
It's already happening as far as people going to nursing homes.
Yes, many
And when-
people have had to go into nursing homes.
And when you stated that Barb stands to lose, does that mean she hasn't lost yet?
Well, cuts are taking place and people are doing various things, like having family provide care instead of providers, or they're supplementing out of their own pocket the reimbursement fees, making them up so that they can have that care.
Okay.
But families are getting exhausted.
Yeah, and when you say family members, I doubt they're getting paid, or at least paid for everything they're doing.
Right.
Can you tell me how important it was to start the Facebook page and why?
Well, like I said, we were concerned that this was going to go into effect. And so we said, we don't know that people really know about this. There's nothing in the media. And
Yeah.
the insurance company surely isn't sending letters saying, hey, effective July 1st, your care will be cut by 50%. And since it was 2 years since the bill was signed, people might have been thinking, hey, nothing's happening. I'm fine. So we thought, how do you communicate with people? We were calling legislators and writing letters, but we didn't know if anybody else was. And so we thought, let's start a Facebook page. And so we started a grassroots Facebook advocacy group called We Cant Wait. Senator Shirkey had said when people appealed to him to fix it, he said, no, we're not going to change anything. We're going to roll it out and we're going to wait and see. And so we were saying, we can't wait and see. We need to have a fix. So we started this page as a way of communicating and getting information out to survivors, to families, to the providers and friends. And it surprisingly worked very well. Within a month, we had a couple of thousand members on our page. And to date, we have 8,400 members. And we suggested to people that they immediately start calling and writing their lawmakers for support. We got mobile billboard, which we put outside of the Capitol because there were 2 bills that had been offered, one in the Senate and one in the House, that could offer a fix to this. And so we put that up on the mobile billboard to fix it. And then in June, we had an assembly on the lawn of the Capitol. And it just so happened that Julie Brixey and Andrea Schroeder, 2 House members, filed an amicus brief. There was a Andieri lawsuit saying that the law shouldn't apply retroactively. And these 2 representatives filed an amicus brief that was signed by 73 bipartisan lawmakers who said, when they signed the bill, they did not intend it to be applied retroactively. And so throughout the year, we've just continued going to the Capitol and continued going on with our activities in many different ways.
So tell me why they wanted the reform in the first place.
Well, they wanted the reform. They used the guise of lowering insurance rates. But the insurance companies had been picking at this for years. They wanted to dismantle auto no fault. And for various reasons, Dan Gilbert and the Mayor Duggan heavily backed this. But it was really the insurance company. And in 2019, the pieces were in place and they passed the bill and the law was implemented. But as many people know, rates haven't gone down, because one of the key things about determining rates that the insurance companies use is demographics, called redlining. So they look at where you live, what your age is, your sex, your occupation, your income, your credit score, and various other things. And they use this to determine what your rates are. And consequently, rates haven't gone down. And as a matter of fact, Citizens Insurance, Doug Heller did a study, he's a national insurance expert, did a study of Citizens Insurance, and they found rates have gone up by $90
A year?
a year.
Wow. That's like $45 off your premium every 6 months.
Yeah.
So let's talk about really the crux of the matter, which is what does this mean? What did the reform mean to people with disabilities, people with specifically spinal cord injuries, et cetera? What happened with the reform and our people?
Can I back up just a little bit? There's one other part about why they blamed no fault, and that's because of the catastrophic, the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. There was a $220 assessment that all drivers pay to go into this fund. And this fund is like insurance for the insurance. So if you're injured in an auto accident and your insurance company pays $600,000 for your care, then you are in the MCCA fund, and the insurance company doesn't pay anymore since then. But it goes right into the catastrophic fund, and the catastrophic fund pays for that care. So it's like insurance for the insurance. So you asked what the reform means for people. Well, the reform has affected everybody who was getting no fault benefits. The providers, the agencies, 90 have either closed or gone out of business and can no longer take auto no fault patients. Care, thousands of people are left without care. Families try to take over, but they are becoming exhausted emotionally, physically, and financially. And their pay has been cut by half too, and some are getting $4, $6, or $12. And some of these people have given up careers that they loved to be able to be caregivers. And so because auto no fault would reimburse the family members, they were able to make their house payments, their car payments, etc. But now with this cut, many are going bankrupt. They're losing things. And moreover, there are people who don't have families. They're going into nursing homes. Nursing homes, like I said, aren't equipped to care for people with this level of injury. And 8 people that we know of have died. So
because of they've died because they didn't have the critical care they needed, or people didn't show up, or
There's many different reasons. One person didn't have her care and she didn't have her CPAP. She died in the night. Other people did die in nursing homes because they're on ventilators or they're, there's choking. There's a whole host of different reasons, but nursing homes are not equipped to care for someone who needs 24/7 care and constant monitoring.
And I don't think people take into consideration the fine details of care, which means, you mentioned someone who's quadriplegic that's on a ventilator. You have to have a registered nurse 24/7 in case that tube comes out, in case there's an issue where they have to bag them manually because of the monitor. And then let's take your sister Barbara into the mix. And she's quadriplegic. And from what I remember, she doesn't really have the use of her fingers.
Right.
So, when people think about that, think about just the things you do in the kitchen to make food. Think about what you do in the bathroom. Think about all these critical, vital activities of daily living have been cut in half. Your support.
Correct.
So what does it mean to, did you have any other stories of how this is affecting folks? I want to make sure we drive that home.
Yeah, well, one of our people, Brian, was like my sister. He worked for Ford Motor Company. He had his own house and he was a quadriplegic. And with the help of his nurses, he was able to maintain a 40-hour-a-week job. He was independent. He was active in his church. He trained, he had a softball league for kids. He sang in the choir. He was an active sportsman. And come July 1st, he had to go into a nursing home. And he was in the hospital like 5 times with various infections. Twice he had sepsis and almost died. And so his life has been stripped from him. He is, now in a rehab unit and just existing.
And I can't imagine his state of mind as far as going from, hey, I'm really doing this. I'm successful with this disability. Yes. And now his spirit has just been taken away, and his motivation, all of that, he must be so depressed.
Yes.
And you know what that does to your body, and it can also have physiological effects, and you can get sick from it. And obviously he is getting sick.
Yes. And that's happening to many people. One woman said she just chose to die rather than go into a nursing home. So she's one of the 8. And that's people that we know because they are one of the people on our Facebook page. And I know there must be dozens out there who have died because of this. Yeah.
What have you done so far to fix this?
We're continually writing legislators, calling. We hold events. On March 1st, we had a memorial for the people who died, and we continue to have protests. We have gone to Senator Shirkey's office, or Senator Shirkey's business, and Lana Tice, we protested her in Brighton, and we have gone to Jason Wentworth's church, and we've done that. And the MCCA, when we learned that Governor Whitmer was going to give $400 to the drivers, but basically it's we have a lot of support in the House, in the Senate, but basically the stonewalling is being done by Senator Shirkey, House Speaker Wentworth, Lana Tice, head of the Senate Insurance Committee, and Dear Rendon, head of the House Insurance Committee. So if those 4 people, if the 2 at the top were to say, yes, we support, these bills would go through. So we're just going to keep on protesting, and we encourage people to visit our Facebook page, write to your representatives and your senators. Please join us at the Capitol. You'll see information on our page when we're going to be at the Capitol. And people, their $400 refund, so many people have said, I don't need this refund. It should go to survivors. And so they've asked what to do with it. So we started a GoFundMe, and you can find that information on our page. And we're using it to continue to educate the lawmakers and educate the general public about what's going on. And now our next step, elections are coming up. We're gonna try to influence the elections to get the people elected who support us, and to block those who don't.
So real quick before we go, why those 4 people? What are they saying? What's their argument?
That's the problem. Senator Shirkey said we need data, wait and see. We keep getting them data. We have 8 deaths. We have stacks. Providers have stacks of bills that have not been paid. The other thing the insurance company is doing is not paying when reimbursements are submitted. They have delay tactics. They said it's this is the wrong form. Oh, this is the wrong code. And they reject it when that's the code and form that was used all along.
It's just stalling.
They're stalling. And we tried to get meetings with them and talk to them, but they will not allow us to meet with them. They just stonewall us and refuse. Their people are very rude when we talk to them. We try to be nice, and they are rude to us. So there's just no getting through to them.
Peg, I know that you brought a video that is related to your advocacy at the Capitol. Let's take a look at that now.
Tensions were high at our state capitol this afternoon as advocates for those catastrophically injured in car crashes tried to talk face-to-face with Michigan Speaker of the House Jason Wentworth. And our Michael Martin was there as it all happened, and he has the story.
Since the most recent portion of Michigan's no-fault auto insurance reform bill went into effect last July, according to advocates, at least 7 people have already died due to those changes. And that's why they're all back here at the state capitol in Lansing, again urging lawmakers to find a fix.
They want us to act cordial, but you're killing people. You're affecting people's lives.
It's been over a year since advocates of catastrophically injured crash survivors began regularly coming to the Capitol to advocate for their own access to care.
I think they can throw us under the bus, push us aside over a cliff, and they want us to go away.
People like Sherry and Leslie Bush, who are worried their daughter Angela, who is now quadriplegic after her crash, will soon lose all of her caregivers.
Our caregivers have continued to work at a dramatically reduced pay level. However, we were just speaking with our agency this week, and they're probably going to be cutting them altogether.
This all stems from the most recent portion of Michigan's no-fault auto insurance reform bill that went into effect last July. While aimed at lowering our sky-high premiums, it introduced a new medical fee schedule that drastically cuts what insurance providers are required to cover for crash survivors receiving benefits through no fault.
They're taking away my ability to get better. Like I'm going backwards, I'm regressing.
Survivors like Rachel Kohler, who has made great progress thanks to their no-fault benefits, are beyond frustrated that lawmakers haven't yet found a fix that would guarantee their care going forward. So on Wednesday, the group attempted to speak with State House Speaker Jason Wentworth in his office.
We're just here because we're desperate. People are dying.
families are in chaos.
But Speaker Wentworth didn't show, and his office called security.
All right, guys, if you guys just head out, please.
For a year I've been fighting this.
And you're doing good, don't give up.
No,
But
I just
this isn't the way.
Emotionally exhausted, the group congregated back in the hall.
It is no longer up for discussion. We have to clear the office, let these folks get back to their work.
No, I know.
Despite yet another setback, the group remains determined to push lawmakers into finally finding a solution.
Guys, this isn't the end. We are going to continue fighting. We're going to get smarter. We're going to get harder. We're going to do what we have to do to make this change.
Well, Peg, that video really tells us a lot. That's really unbelievable. You know, hopefully this will fire up people to get involved. So as we close, I think people can go to your Facebook page and get all this information. I'm sure they can contact you through the Facebook page. This is not going away. We Can't Wait is not going away. So
No.
I really, really appreciate you shining a spotlight on it today. And folks out there, please pass the word to look into this. Call your insurance agent and talk to them about it because they're well aware. And Peg, thank you so much for joining us. It was great seeing you again.
You too, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. Do what you can, be an advocate, and thank you for joining us on Ann Arbor Inclusive.